The box office might be dominated by sequels, prequels, and reboots these days, but when a movie can stand on its own, it's truly a success. But sometimes the movies that seem the most original, most unique, or just the most successful can hide serious links to other movies, even establishing a shared movie universe audiences never knew to look for. Until now. Here are Screen Rant's 10 amazing secret relations between popular films. Avengers: Age of Ultron and Castle in the Sky. The second Avengers team-up saw Marvel's best take on an evil robot, hell-bent on lifting a city into the sky using cutting-edge technology. But it's not exactly an original idea. Marvel fans may not have seen or heard of Castle in the Sky, Miyazaki's first animated movie released through the world-famous studio Ghibli. But the movie also happened to feature a floating city, not to mention robots of its own. Did Ultron get his idea from the same animated film? The answer might be clear once you watch one of the movie's thin-limbed robot protectors rendered in 3D inside Tony Stark's Avengers Tower. Star Wars and E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Since Steven Spielberg was one of the only people to guess that Star Wars would be a massive success, it only seems right for him to include a nod in his own story of an alien encounter. When Elliot takes E.T. out trick-or-treating, a kid in a Yoda costume walks by, with E.T. seeming to recognize the other alien visitor. It was just a playful joke. But George Lucas doubled down, making sure to include members of E.T.'s race in his own galactic senate, establishing that E.T. and Yoda really were neighbors in the very same galaxy. Memento and The Dark Knight Rises. You might think all the movies have in common is director Christopher Nolan, but a supporting character suggests they take place in the same universe. Actor Thomas Lennon is the key, having first played a young, unnamed doctor in Nolan's fragmented Memento. When filming began on the final chapter of his Dark Knight trilogy, Lennon got a call to once again appear as Bruce Wayne's personal doctor. Lennon played the same character, admitting that he assumed it was the same doctor, which meant, to him at least, the Batman story was all taking place in the damaged brain of Memento's hero Leonard Shelby. Spy Kids and Machete. From the moment director Robert Rodriguez met Danny Trejo on the set of Desperado, he began writing an entire film around his intimidating, ruthless personality, picturing Machete as a Latin action hero. But before he could make the movie, Rodriguez moved into the family-friendly Spy Kids series. Seeing an opportunity, he cast Trejo as the kid's Uncle Machete, eventually cutting a mock trailer for a standalone movie as a part of the Grindhouse double feature. 2 feature films would follow, making Uncle Machete a memorable figure with 2 completely different audiences. Collateral and The Transporter. Before Jason Statham was a certified action star, he made a name for himself in director Guy Ritchie's Tales of London Crime, with Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels his first. Tom Cruise was apparently a fan looking to star in a Hollywood remake. That never happened. But Statham did land a small role in Cruise's Collateral, a scene that meant much more to Statham's fans. It's easy to see why most view the cameo as an appearance by Frank Martin, the star of the Transporter series. It's never stated outright, but Statham arriving, delivering a bag, and asking no questions is more than enough proof for fans. The Rock and Armageddon. Movie fans know that director Michael Bay's movies tend to look alike, but there's actual evidence to suggest they take place in the same shared universe. At least 2 of his most famous might. When the American president had to order an airstrike on hostages held on Alcatraz, Bay turned to actor Stanley Anderson for the job. Just a few years later, when an asteroid was heading towards Earth in Armageddon, Bay called on the exact same actor to deliver yet another speech. Compared to the rest of the 2 movies, hearing they're set in the same fictional timeline isn't actually that hard to believe. Alien and Spaceballs. It's the original Star Wars saga that Spaceballs is parodying, but a single joke teases that in this galaxy far, far away, Ellen Ripley and her crew also ran into the unforgettable monsters of the Alien movie series. How else do you explain the presence of actor John Hurt, reprising his role as the unfortunate victim of an alien chestburster? In this universe, it's obviously not as serious an injury. Star Trek and Star Wars. Can a single person really unite the 2 most famous space franchises in history? Fans have director J.J. Abrams to thank for linking the 2 series, including one of the iconic R2 droids in not just the Star Trek reboot, but in the sequel, Star Trek Into Darkness. Audiences can still play favorites between Trek and Wars, but on the big screen, a pair of Easter eggs means they no longer have to. The Fast and the Furious and Herbie Fully Loaded. As crazy as the world of the Fast and Furious may have become, cars are still cars, not intelligent members of the cast. At least not every car in the franchise's universe. At the end of the first movie, Dominic Toretto accidentally totals his prized Dodge Charger before running from the police. But fans will have to look to Herbie the Love Bug to find out what happened to the car after the crash. The opening of Herbie Fully Loaded takes place in a car-filled junkyard, with Toretto's Charger sitting front and center. Now we can only wait until the Fast and Furious cars start talking themselves. The Abyss and Terminator 2. The Terminator spawned an entire multimedia franchise, but fans may not realize that long before shared universes were all the rage, James Cameron had crafted his own. Aside from using the exact same news reporter in the first Terminator movie as his underwater adventure The Abyss, the company funding the undersea oil mining operation is known as Benthic Petroleum. The logo will look familiar since it's the same logo subtly plastered over the gas station Sarah and John Connor visit in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Those are all the subtle, sneaky, or downright invisible links between hit movies that we could find. But which ones do you know of that we left out? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.